Hey, experts, we've got something really awesome that we do here at Coffee Experts Club, and that's called the My First Drive-Through Coffee Masterclass. So if you're opening your next coffee shop, I think a lot of times you may think to yourself, I know what goes into opening a coffee shop. I've been doing this for years, but maybe you've been doing it for somebody else. And maybe this is your first option of starting a coffee shop on your own. Or maybe you don't know anything about coffee and you're just like, I'm looking for a good investment opportunity. Starting a coffee shop seems like a good place to put it, and you're going to enter into it. But what you don't know is all the things that you don't know, right? And so what we've done with this masterclass is taken behind the scenes, how you find your first location, what you need to be thinking about in finding a location. We give you a gift in the masterclass where it's a step-by-step process of how you're opening your coffee shop, the different checkpoints you need from coming up with your plans and talking with the city and then negotiating a lease. And then how do you build a team and what are the different pieces you need to be thinking about? It's a great masterclass, door to door, start to finish, completely free on opening up your next coffee drive-through. So check it out. It's at myfirstdrivethrough.coffee, and it's a great masterclass. You won't regret it. We'll see you on the inside there.
Welcome to the Coffee Experts Club, where we discuss all of the insights, expertise, and drama that goes into making your passion your profession. Our hosts, Aaron, Ben, and Drew, are three coffee experts who have taken their coffee experience and turned it into true expertise. They have consulted with major coffee brands throughout the United States and beyond, providing operations expertise and growth strategy for drive-through openings, multiple locations, and everything in between. So brew yourself a cup and hang out a bit with the Coffee Experts Club.
Coffee Experts Club. Ben and Drew, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, if you're joining us today and you're thinking about coffee and you're thinking, man, I'd like to start something and I'm not sure where to go to get expert advice, this is the spot to do it. So any of you who are listening today, either you have coffee, you're dreaming about coffee, welcome here. It's great to have you. Share this with your friends. We love getting the word out there. Just three dudes talking coffee who've got a lot of coffee experience and opened up a lot of different things regarding coffee across the US. So Ben, Drew, you guys are top class dudes. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, I like to think so, at least. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So lately we've been talking about what goes into starting your first coffee shop. You know, we've been talking about new locations, choosing locations, people, how your people really affect how you're doing your hiring. Where are you placing your people? Like, how are you
Mhm.
growing people? Going good. Today, we're going to talk about marketing because I think that's something that some people really get stuck on. You know, it's more than just socials. It's more than just having a social presence. You know, there's a lot of things to driving coffee when it comes to marketing, but it's easy to get tangled too, right? Because you can also start spending just all kinds of dollars on fluff, right?
Yep.
Stuff you're like, did that have any impact? So what are you guys? I know we've worked with marketers through the years. We've tried different marketing. I know Drew and we were just up in Great Falls, Montana this past weekend. We were talking about one of our coffee clients, the mayor's, you know, Jonathan doing his own like reels and some of the stuff he's stitching together on Instagram. And I feel like he does a great job. But when it comes to marketing, what do you guys think is the most important thing people keep front and center when it comes to finding a marketing person, doing marketing themselves, what exactly they're promoting? What are your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I think what we learned over the years was you really don't need a big marketing budget, especially in the coffee world. There's just something about the coffee industry. It's not like you have to have some big budget. I mean, like, it's not like you need TV commercials, radio spots. Like, it really is more guerrilla marketing. Coffee was almost built for social media marketing. So as long as you've got a social media presence and stamp cards or equivalent of that, you're off to a good
Loyalty program? Yeah.
loyalty program. Yep. I saw a meme the other day of the what every business owner never wanted to do when they started a business was also become a content creator.
Yes.
But you kind of have to in today's day and age, as in that guerrilla marketing space, you have to be able to be a content creator or at least, take some pictures of your drinks. Maybe as you grow and scale, you can hire somebody on to do that. But really, it is about taking pictures of your products, having some social media presence. And that really is just engagement, taking pictures, taking videos, talking to people on your Instagram or your Facebook, and just being out there and constantly posting. And then, once people come in, because they will come in at some point, where's your marketing from there? And that's all internal. It's loyalty programs, your branding, all of that sort of stuff. But really outward facing outside of your shop, I think social media is really all you need right now.
I think keeping right in people's face is something relevant to the community. I know we worked with franchisees who had a couple locations and they had somebody running their marketing and some of their posts were not relevant to the right location. You know what I mean? So
Right.
something that we capitalized on as roasters was being local, and so speaking to what the community is interested in, if it's certain events or if it's certain, fundraising or allowing, the Girl Scouts to sell their cookies on your front porch or whatever it is, connecting with
Mhm.
customers, having them featured on your page, allowing your community to be part of your marketing, because I think everybody feels like, it's nice to be part of something, especially if you're spending your money there.
Yeah.
And Ben, didn't you love when the Girl Scouts would come and sell on your front porch? That was one of the highlights of your year.
Well, it's not so bad if they ask first, but then you just like halfway through a rush, you look out and there's people lined up outside your building because they're buying Girl Scout cookies. You're like, where did these people come from?
Ben would get so pissed, Drew. Like I'd be in meetings with Ben and he's like, no offense to any Girl Scouts that are listening. It was awesome. It was just the fact that exactly like Ben said, we'd experienced these rushes and these pain points. And we're like, what the heck is going on? And it was the Girl Scouts who hadn't let us know they're selling out front, but now they're selling out front and it's causing a ruckus. Like I think it was pretty funny the meetings I'd have with Ben.
What was even worse is at one point they don't get me started on this. They we'd look out and there'd be Girl Scouts walking up and down the drive-through lane, like going up to people's windows. I was like, this is a liability. We can't do this.
Can I say this though? I know that that was just a pain in the ass as far as an operator stressing about operations, but let's talk real quick about collabs and like not to give us a promotion or anything like that, but I think that um collaboratives, I think that is kind of cool when the Girl Scouts do it right, right? And they approach you and they're like, "Hey, can we sell cookies outside of your business?" Then you begin to form like a crossover, a
Mhm.
synergy, right? Where people know this is where they're going to be and they're there to grab a drink while they're coming through. And it's like this synergistic thing. So then when they post on their Facebook, on their Instagram, on their TikToks, whatever their social there's on, they're promoting, but they're promoting your location. I think CJ and Lindsay do a great job of that with Outsider, where they do these things where it's like, I think they call it like a power hour or something like that, where local businesses sponsor an hour on their show.
Yep.
We actually dove into this pretty deep on Coffee Experts Academy. If you want like a deep dive on this, Lindsay came on and talked about this in the Coffee Experts Academy. But where they actually had power hour, where business would sponsor an hour, buy all the coffee that was sold in that hour. But there was some cross promotion opportunity too, right? Where the business is getting like all of Outsiders ad budgets and all of their energies, all of their eyeballs, right? People looking at Outsider, but also then Outsider experiences the benefit of anybody that loves these local businesses is now looking at Outsider for coffee and saying, "Oh, I love this local business. They're teaming up with that coffee shop. I've never been there before. Let's go check it out." And there can be a cool synergy, especially around free coffee. Like, who doesn't want, hey, everybody that comes in this next hour, like Bob's Windows is gonna sponsor Power Hour, and then it's like, oh, I was looking for a good window, rep in the area, somebody that's gonna change out the windows in my house. Well, what does that have to do with coffee? But it's the synergies of like businesses comboing together. I think that that's a really powerful thing. So even the Girl Scout cookies were your bane, Ben, from an operations perspective. I do think there was some wisdom in the synergy.
Yeah, no, I remember we had that happen a couple times too, where businesses in the roasters days would actually reach out to us and they'd say, "Hey, can we do this with you?" I think we had a local US cellular shop. The rep came in and wanted to do that. Same with a local bank, credit union did that. And all they asked was like, "Hey, can you hand out a flyer, one of our flyers with every drink out the window?" I was like, "Yeah, that's easy." And the customers, like when they get to the window, if they don't know what's going on, they're super stoked, which is awesome because it immediately gives them a good feeling about you as the shop, the coffee shop. I mean, you just give them free coffee, but they get a good feeling about that local business. That local business gets a little bit of marketing out. And it was a lot of those things. If you can create a lot of those relationships with different businesses and have stuff going off on like that spontaneously, it almost creates this air of fun because the customer is like, what's going to happen next time I show up? I mean, last week I got free coffee. Like, I wonder if they're doing anything else. And it keeps customers, like marketing should do. It keeps them engaged with your business and wanting to go back because there's something fun happening. There's something new happening. And it's just really fun in that sense. Of course, all the baristas are having a blast because you're able to give away free coffee. So it's one of those scenarios that's just like a win-win for everybody.
Well, and
That's good
those
stuff.
businesses already have a customer base too. So you're just feeding
Mhm.
right into that as well. If I'm a fan of, a local dentist office and I don't really, have a coffee home and I see that, oh, well, this place that I love, my dentist or the people who help me out are supporting this coffee shop. Well, I gotta go check them out too.
Yeah, let's talk about for a minute because Ben, you touched on something that I thought was really good, and that was staying in front of your customers and keeping like the fire alive, like keeping the curiosity alive, looking for the deals. That's something we've really had to work on down in Belize. For those of you who don't know, Drew and I own a coffee shop down in Belize. We have two locations, building a third coming up here in January. First drive-through coffee in the country of Belize. But in Belize, it's different, right? Because they're about 20 years behind any technology that we have here. There's not even a POS system that syncs up with credit cards in the country of Belize because Belize Bank has such a tight hand on transactions. So we've had to get really creative on how do you stay in front of them, right? There's not the apps that there are up here. There aren't ways that you can like link people's sales into offering them that drink. There's some really cool stuff here in the States when it comes to POS software, what they purchased, tying into your notifications that you can push out and say, hey, you feeling like you're, medium hot mocha or whatever this afternoon? Doesn't that sound good? Here's $2 off. You can do some really smart stuff with that
Mhm.
up here in the state, here in the States. In Belize, we're still like just wandering. So we started this thing in this WhatsApp channel where it was like we called it locals only, right? We're trying to talk to the locals in Belize. We're really trying to hit American tourists, but we want to really speak the language of the local people too, right? We're not just there to strip money out of the economy. We're really trying to invest money back into Belize. So we created this like locals chain where they can join this WhatsApp group, and it's about pushing out notifications and pushing out like flash sales. If you think of it in your mind, we call it happy hours. You know what I mean? Like what can we do, or discounts or deals where we can be stoking out local people. But I think that you're right, Ben. Like it's keeping that notification, keeping that thing alive, like pushing it out. Cause Drew and I have seen incredible success of when you push it out to a closed pocketed group of people that are highly attentive to what you're doing, like you can really ratchet up sales. Drew, you want to talk a little bit about last week and just like some of the lull in travel? And so we really needed some, like some higher hours. The kids were slow. You want to just talk to them about that?
Well, it comes from, history of roasters. I remember it was the bane of some of our scheduling processes when Wes would come into the store and be like, I just posted, we're doing $1 every drink for the next hour. And like, we only have two baristas, man. What are you thinking? So I was actually in the store and we'd done hardly any sales for a couple hours. And I think a lot of stores could probably relate to how that feels. And it's like, well, how do we drum up business? And not just in a way that's like, let's make a bunch of money right now, but let's reach a lot of people right now, and serve them well and serve them in a way that, fits their day if they're in between, work, or if they're in between picking a kid up from school and they're not doing much, but we're going to give them a deal, not charge full price, not charge extra, and not really just try to sell them, but try to serve them. When I was in the store talking to the baristas, telling them this story about the $1 West deal, and they're like, we should do something like that. And we have this WhatsApp group for the two locations. They're pretty far apart, pretty much the whole country apart. So it's almost two separate customer bases, and each one has about 400 people in it. And we sometimes put out deals, and I think we did a $3 drink deal just for the next hour. We're like, hey, for the next hour, let's see how this works. And it pretty much blew the doors off the hour. We didn't expect it. We've done deals in there that doesn't always happen. And I mean, $3 on a drink is a pretty good deal. And the baristas in there, luckily, were prepared, and the manager showed up to help. I tried to learn from my past mistakes that I've been put through. But yeah, it was just drink after drink. I think we did about 80 drinks in that hour when we'd done like 4 or 5 in the last 2 hours. So we have experienced some really nice success, and WhatsApp is a nice vehicle for us down there because anybody who's traveled outside the States, I mean, we have monopolies on our communication here, but WhatsApp is a global communicator. And so a lot of people down in Belize, a lot of people in Mexico, they use WhatsApp to communicate rather than a text, or rather than Facebook. And so people down there are on WhatsApp a lot just to talk to their family and friends and have, relevant news updates that come through on their various channels. And so that's why we tapped into the WhatsApp group, because it's speaking to how the community operates as well.
Yeah. There's so many apps out there now in the States, where you can use it just as a loyalty app. Maybe you're like, listen, we haven't invested in a huge POS system where, because the big POS systems, they're freaking smart. You know what I mean? Like they're
Mhm.
tracking your people. They know when Cindy comes in to drop off Billy at school that she every afternoon buys this that's different than her morning order, and so they've got it down to a science with some of those POS systems where it at the normal average time that she's normally buying, they're pushing her a notification reminding her, hey, here's a coupon. I haven't seen you in 3 days, like super smart analytics, but I think too, if you're just starting, or like you're in a situation where it's like tech low, wherever you're at, I
Mhm.
think my biggest point of advice to you would be go where your people are, right? Because like not everybody's going to adopt all the apps that you put out there, right? But if you can get to them on whatever they're already on, which is why WhatsApp has been a gift to us, then you have a much higher likelihood of people paying attention to your notifications. But if it's on some random app that nobody has, and you have to like talk them into it, and they're not getting some kind of reward for being on there, nobody's going to join it. But I think if you can create some buzz around something they're already on, it's really smart. Like a lot of people with their POS systems now, well, that's how they're charging people at the window anyway. You're scanning a code, or you're
Mhm.
using that, like making sure you're getting points because you're not doing punch cards anymore. but I think that going where people are and then making it relevant. We talked about at annual planning, we just did an annual planning session for De Los Mayas this last weekend. And we talked about, hey, we should push out some polls and see what are the deals that people like best. You know what I mean? And then start speaking the language of people, because Drew and I can pull cockamamie stuff out of the air if that's what you want, and sometimes we do the analytics behind it of, hey, that really worked last time. But a lot of times it's you feel the pressure of, shoot, we haven't put out a deal in a week. Like what's the deal we're supposed to put out? And you feel that pressure. And so you make kind of a shoot from the hip decision. Why don't we put out some polls? Why don't we ask our people, what would they like to see? Like
Yeah.
what would they like more of? So using socials for more engagement, getting polls, getting an idea of what your people want, and then give them what they want, right? Instead of just giving them what you think. We ran a promo last week. Drew's like, that was a flop. Like nobody did anything. And so I think there's sometimes where like ask them what they want is so much better.
Yeah. And I would say too, being spontaneous, in your marketing, there's a bit of spontaneity that you just can't replicate with your POS systems, with even your constant WhatsApp messages. Like those are great baselines. But if I have a POS system like a loyalty program that every time I earn a star, it notifies me, I ignore that pretty quickly. Like, cause you're training me to ignore notifications from you. But if you're spontaneous in your marketing, sometimes on your social media, you've got marketing and you're asking me what I want for a deal. And sometimes it comes on the POS and sometimes it's on Instagram and sometimes it's on Facebook. And I might miss it if I'm not checking those. Then you're keeping me engaged and you're not training me to ignore everything you're telling me. So I'm less likely to ignore that poll, for example, or I'm less likely to ignore the message that I get that says, hey, you finally earned a free drink. If I've gotten 5 messages before that said, hey, you just earned a star towards a free drink. Hey, you just earned a star towards a free drink. When I actually get the free drink, I probably won't know about it because it's been annoying me this entire time. But like if my buddy told me, oh yeah, you didn't see on Instagram last week, they just gave everybody $2 drinks for everybody who showed them the post. Then I'm like, oh shoot, I missed it. I need to pay attention to that. And so that type of marketing is, again, that guerrilla style marketing that just keeps people engaged with you constantly, not in just one avenue. So they become bored of it, but they're constantly seeing what's happening. Or what we did a few times too was like, we didn't tell anybody anything. We just did randomly like the deal hour or happy hour just for people who came in. Like we didn't post it on socials, nothing. And we just literally let word of mouth creep out there. People are like, oh, you didn't get the deal? No, I didn't know about it. And people are like, I didn't know about the deal. And it just creates this buzz around your company that people are like, oh, I need to pay attention more. And then they're actively engaged with your marketing.
I think, also, you mentioned something early when we first started, Ben, that you were talking about, you just got to take your pictures and you got to post up on social. Maybe you're listening today and you're like, dear God, I don't want to be a content creator. Like, I think for me, a lot of times I don't necessarily nail marketing. That's not my jam. I don't really even enjoy talking marketing a lot, but I know it's super important. I think that realize it doesn't always require that you hire some super expensive marketing firm or you hire somebody that is an expert at that. A lot of times, down at De Los Mayas, we found local people that enjoy our coffee that maybe we can just do some trade with. Hey, can we, maybe pay you a minimum amount, or could we trade you coffee for a certain number of posts? And then for me, it's really easy because they will send me over the post. I approve it and then we post it. So I'm not even giving them access to my channels. I'm asking them to create content, send me content. We'll handle the posting, but creating a content generator out there by some of your local people, young people that are probably already on socials who understand the trends that are going on. I don't want to keep up with the new trend on TikTok. That's not what I want to do. But there are people, young people that love keeping up with trends, that would love exchange for free coffee or discounts on coffee for the sake of being able to create your content. So whatever your budget is, it doesn't have to be some expensive marketing firm out there. Work with what you got. But I will say the bigger that you get, there are probably some great experts out there. I know we used to work a lot with Stephanie Davis Media, and Stephanie was great. She was a professional. She took beautiful stuff. She understood how all the different platforms work. She came up with a marketing program where, like you were saying, Ben, she would emphasize different stores at different times. And, with roasters, we had 15 locations in a roastery. Like you need somebody that's going to help you organize that because that gets messy and scrambly really quick. So it probably just depends on where you're at. And it doesn't always have to be overwhelming and it doesn't always have to be you. Maybe we could talk about that for a minute. Marketing doesn't always have to be your whole coffee shop should not all be you. And if it is, you're going to experience burnout really, really quick. You guys want to talk about that for a minute?
Thinking about my friends, Indie Coffee Coalition, just thinking about the hundreds of thousands of dollars we've saved coffee shop owners just like you who are not franchisees, who are looking for deals on their fat mix and their energy drinks. Why should the franchises get all the deals, right? Indie Coffee Coalition was built with the idea of saving you, the little guy, tons of cash. So if you're a coffee shop owner, you have 1 to 3 coffee shops, and you're serving blended drinks or energy drinks, we can substantially save you money and keep more money in your pocket. Set up a call. I'd love to talk with you. Indie Coffee Coalition, keeping money in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made a great point in engaging your community. I remember specifically we were giving out sticker packs for a while there. I think we were actually running like a week-long deal where one of the deal days was like, come in and get like some free stickers. And we have our logos, like that's it. None of us really creative. And so we were like, why don't we just post on our socials and say, hey, send in your designs and be the featured sticker in this.
Right.
And it was completely free, but people were like, yes, I want to be the person who creates the badass sticker that people are handing out the window. And we got a ton of awesome designs. I think we used designs for stickers. We used those on t-shirts, and people just wanted, like, the community wanted to be a part of like being the guy whose design got picked and handed out the window. So it was super simple. I mean, we didn't have to come up with all these designs. We just said, hey, if you love roasters, draw something up. Here's our parameters, make it sticker sized, make it family friendly,
Yes.
put roasters somewhere in the design and then send it in and we'll pick a winner. And that winner's featured. It was a great idea.
So cool. I think a lot of the customers really like being involved with the business in different ways. I know we had walls of Christmas cards, or people who would come in to do their knitting on Sundays and just various things that they were involved in, they involved us in, and so for us to give back, not just through deals, but it's like an interactive business, and we were local and we spoke to what was important. And that's kind of what, hiring a local down there to help us plug into, what goes on throughout the year. Cause I mean, if you're blessed, you can open up a coffee shop where you're from, and you've been plugged into the community and you know a lot of people, but that might not always be the case. You might have to be a transplant to move somewhere that has, a different population or just a different climate, and you're not going to be as plugged into these things. And so having somebody on the ground, who's first of all a fan, which is what we did. The girl we were working with was a huge fan. She was there every day, twice a day for the grand opening, spoke about our deals, brought people in for us. So she was already a natural marketer, and I'm sure you have those in your customer base. But then asking, what we miss stuff, and because we're from the US, our holidays are different. They have a Father's Day on a different day. They have a Mother's Day on a different day. And so it's like, we want to post about it, but we post about it on the wrong days, so we have to be more aware. And it's like, oh, National Coffee Day isn't the same day here as it is there. And so understanding, the different, it's nuanced. It's not always cut and dry the same as what we know. And you don't know what you don't know until you post it on the wrong day.
Just throwing out to Alyssa, like, I think she just does a great job for us down in Belize. And I will say, just like Drew said, and, even at annual planning, her name came up of, hey, let's lean into her a little bit more. Like, let's grow her. Let's offer her some more money to do more of this kind of stuff because she's proven herself. So give people ground to prove themselves. I mean, like, don't just like hand it out to anybody. Like, let them prove themselves, let them get excited. But she's just shown up so well for us. And then she started managing one of our other employees that's doing it at our other location. And then she's helping us calendar things out. Like Drew said, for holidays, like, you're slowly giving out more and more responsibility based upon their desire, their ability, how they're creating. But I'll tell you what, like, she's doing a ton better than Drew and I were doing before her because she has a passion for it. She enjoys doing it, and she's right in the throw of it all. So I think super good word on that one for sure.
Well, I think at the same time, it's what's going to make your coffee shop unique. There's dozens of coffee shops, and I mean, we love to have diehard fans that are supporting us and speaking about us and creating fans through themselves, but that might not always be the case. And it's definitely not the case for every customer you have. So what makes your coffee shop have the substance that brings people to it? What is it that is your unique thing? And not just your drink offering. People can get tasty drinks from all over the place and their taste buds are going to change, but it's more than that. It's what is it that is a magnet for, different levels of people? Because oh, we serve, mostly high schoolers, or oh, we serve an older community, or we serve, moms. We want to serve everybody, and so what is it that is, it's less tangible than a drink or a certain product offering, or how do we create a buzz? And like you mentioned, Outsider Coffee does, they created customers before they were really open. They had other things that connected people to their story and to their mission and up to their passion. And by the time they opened, they already had customers, and in a perfect world, we can all do the same thing, but really defining what it is that your purpose is as a coffee shop. I remember people used to ask me before I was going to open one, I was always planning, well, what makes you unique? And that's not always the easiest thing to answer, especially if you come from a coffee background. You're like, I'm just going to do it better. Like, what does that mean? That's really ambiguous, what is it you can present, as your best foot forward that is more than just, your coffee. And I think you did that a lot with roasters, and I'm hoping we're doing the same thing with Myas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon from Bentley's Coffee really talked about that a lot, right? When we had him on the show a few weeks back, when like he's going after pet owners, like that's his jam. And so, like, if he can market his dog is the big logo, right? As people come in, he's giving out these very unique pup cups that are designed to be healthy for animals. Like his baristas are memorizing animals' names as much as they're memorizing their customer names. Like that's his niche, and it helps him to shave down. Like, who is it that he's marketing to? Like he's marketing to animal lovers. If you don't love animals, you probably aren't going to love Bentleys because that's not your jam. For us at De Los Mayas, we've really tried to lean into coffee grown in Belize, roasted in Belize, served by Belizean people. Like that's what we want to do. Yeah, Drew and I are Americans and we own this business. And yes, we're trying to empower like Belizean people to enjoy the community. So our tag is legendary coffee building communities. We want to build a percentage of every cup is going back into this local community because we don't just want to strip it of money. We want to give back. We want to be a presence. And so all the money we've made in Belize, we've kept in Belize for the sake of making Belize something really special. So find whatever it is that your niche is and really begin to market to those people specifically instead of just megaphoning out to the world. Cause you know how that is. You're out there shouting in the wind. Well, the way that you identify it is calling somebody's name. If I'm looking for Drew, I'm not just out there yelling, hey. And Drew's like, dude, that guy's freaking annoying. But if I see Drew and I'm like, hey, Drew, like he sees it, he hears it, and he's going to pay more attention. Like call out to your people and tell them what they want to hear. And if that's through polls or finding out what's your unique identifier, how to create raving fans, like the way you do it is speaking their language and drawing your people. That's how you create, that special avatar.
Yeah, I
Clean
think
bathrooms.
Clean bathrooms.
I think you touched on a really good point there too, in the giving back to the community aspect. I think that's probably one of the easiest, best marketing things that you can do as a shop. And if you're a coffee company that's not giving back to your direct community in some way, you're missing out a lot, because that piece of like, we're not here just to take your money and say, see you later. But that piece of like, we're here to A, be a profitable business, but B, also like we want to embed ourselves within the community. And for us, that means supporting you, the community that's around us. That piece is a huge piece of marketing, especially in today's day and age when people want more local options and they want to be a part of their local option. They want to, they go to Walmart and they know that, nobody there gives a crap about them. But if I go to my local coffee shop, it's nice to know that they care about me. Doing something like at Roasters, where it was once a month, we had a community giving day where it was the whole day's, profits went to X charity. And the next month it was Y charity in our local community. Something where you're giving back either revenue wise, time wise to the local community is so important. I don't think it can be overstated. Like that should be a part of your marketing plan, just like baseline, because that immediately tells your customers, oh, this company is actually going to care about us. If they're not going to just fold tomorrow and all the employees aren't going to be jobless and they're just going to say, see ya, we'll go somewhere else, but they actually want to be embedded and rooted in this community.
You know who does that like a boss is Jarek at Swig Coffee. Like I love Jarek's interviews. Like he'll go in, it's not just him giving a check to somebody, but he like interviews them, lets them tell their story, let them tell the passion product, whatever they're donating to. It's not just like, hey, look at us, we're cool, we're giving out money. It's like, no, hey, this opportunity to turn the spotlight onto you. Tell people using our social media channel, like what is it that lights you up? What is your organization all about? Yes, we chose to donate to you this month because we allowed our people to, kind of direct us towards you. But now that we've chosen you, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I think it's so cool to give love to people that a lot of times, like nonprofits or smaller organizations, they're not as big as your coffee shop is. They're not seeing as many eyeballs as you see. And it's so cool to just take all the eyeballs that are on you and spotlight somebody that is doing some really cool stuff, And so I think shout out to Jarek at Swig Coffee there in the Tri-Cities. He's doing a great job. Awesome, boys. Well, hey, if you enjoyed the show today, coffeeexpertsacademy.com is a great place if you want to go deep on this stuff. I think we spent like 4 weeks on coffee marketing. If you enjoyed it, do it there. Otherwise, we love to see you next week. We'll interview somebody special or we'll keep talking through topics. Drew, Ben, always amazing. You are gentlemen and scholars, and I appreciate you both.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you next week.
See ya.
Thanks so much for joining us today. For those of you who are looking to become a coffee expert yourself, we offer an incredible, thorough training online for opening your first coffee drive-thru at www.myfirstdrivethru.coffee.